It's not quite South Carolina, but you know what I'm saying. If I'm being honest, what I learned about manhood in the streets of Brooklyn was that manhood was intricately linked to how many women you sleep with, how much you can bench press, and how much money you make. Now, raise your hand if you think that any of those three things have a whole lot to do with manhood. Yeah, that's what I stop it, Bacardi. So the messaging behind what manhood is can be quite confusing. And what I want our sisters to know is when you encounter a brother who is really confused about how to walk this out, it usually is because of the messaging that he's received behind what manhood is.
It's easy, right? So like this, I come from a very simple background when it comes to certain things. I think a lot of times we talk too much, we don't listen enough, we get all these degrees and then we just start talking to people, and we don't listen to what they have to say. But you can't teach a kid he can be a black doctor if he's never seen one. You can't teach a kid he can be a black lawyer if he's never seen one. It's the same thing with manhood. The things that you're talking about are what you are able to visually see. There's a young man named, and I would love to hear what Mr. Dondre has to say about this, but there was a young man named Jacob Philadelphia. It's going to blow your mind. When he was 4 years old, his parents got decommissioned from the White House. You remember the picture, and he got an opportunity. He was casket sharp. In the South, that means that's the best you're going to ever look at casket sharp. That's y'all looking at me strange. The sunrise let you be wrinkled in the casket.
Right.
But the president said that you can ask me any question you want to ask. He was 4 years old, and Jacob Philadelphia said, "Does your hair feel like mine?"
Yes.
And Barack Obama leaned over, and Jacob reached up and touched his hair.
Right.
And so I say that because that's the second most powerful image to come out of those 8 years in the White House. The first being when they killed Osama bin Laden. But that imagery was so important, right? And it works in so many different ways. It's like the garbage man being your father is a motivational tool. But that imagery also said that little black and brown boys and girls around the world could grow up and be the most powerful thing in the world. And so if a young boy has never truly seen a black man, I'm not sure how we can expect him to be one.
Yeah, so this is a segue to exactly what I was just getting ready to get to, and I'm going to give it to Brother Chris, the matter of raising our boys. Often I hear our sisters complain about the kind of, I'm going to call them guys, because these are the grown males who haven't quite matriculated into manhood based on the lack of messaging that they need to get there. My wife and I have gotten into some very spiritual jousts about the raising of our son. And I have often had to lovingly escort her out of the room. Lovingly, but firmly out of the room when it comes to our son. And here's why. And I said this to her, babe, one of three things is going to raise our son. The state, the street, or me. If you are a calculating woman, which I know you to be because we've been together for 27 years, you will let me do this. Because I'm going to turn him into the kind of man that no woman will ever complain about. So the question to my brothers is this. Why is the task of raising or mentoring our young black boys so important? That's a great question. I tell you, when I had my first son, I named him after me, which was a mistake. Because when you're a junior, you're known by your father. And raising my two sons has been one of the great joys in my life. And raising my three daughters, just as much.
And when I look at my sons, one graduated from Pomona College, attended Harvard Westlake for high school. Another is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. He just finished at the University of San Francisco and began graduate
That's a
school.
great son.
That's a great son.
Bad judgment.
And he's in graduate school at USC. And so, you know, how did that happen? You know, one day my son, he sends me a card, and the card says, the legend and the legacy. I'm like, what is this? And a few days later, I find out that he's online. And so, of course, I had some influence on him. If you were to meet my sons, you would know that they are courteous, that they are intelligent. They're not like their daddy. They're not out in the streets chasing women, cussing, doing all the wild stuff that I used to do as a kid. They learned what not to do from me and what to do. But I don't know how we're going to create a son or a man that women won't complain about, because I feel like I'm the perfect for my wife. She got complaints. Things I got to clean up.
Well, I'm gonna be sure when we get backstage, I'm gonna be sure to clean some of that up with you.
I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but my wife never complains. There's some manliness right there, you understand? She's alive.
Put her under oath.
She don't plead fifth. She don't plead fifth. So, you know, that's great. You gave me goosebumps listening to your story about your son. And on behalf of the pretty boys of Cap Outside, that's enough now. You know, it's interesting. I think it leads into another question you might be going to, but I just got to touch on it right now because all three of my sons are members of Cap Outside Fraternity.
All right now.
And I say that not to brag, but because it is indeed, I got goosebumps because I've been working my whole life to be certain these kids, in my estimation, from my own opinion, have a role model they can look up to, somebody they want to be like, someone that they can emulate, someone that shows them what manliness looks like, right? And on their own volition, not only because I wouldn't pay for anything else, but on their own volition, they've done this. And so it goes to your question about the importance of mentoring young black boys. And this, for me, it starts at home. And if you were to ask any of my sons, my wife knows I'm going with this, you were to ask any of my sons who they represent, they would tell you four things.